So congratulations, you've created a new project in the Elephant Builder. But now what do? How do you build the model? When you start a new project in the Elephant Builder, there's just one node. In this case, I created the initial node, well-being. It's kind of vague, but we'll just go with it. And then if you look over in the right-hand pane, the Elephant Builder asks me the big question in model building. What affects this node, well-being? Or what does well-being affect? I'm going to create a node, public health. First thing the Elephant Builder will ask me about my new node is, do I mean to say that it's well-being that affects public health, or that it's public health that affects well-being? Well, I can see it going both ways, but what I meant to say was that public health affects well-being. So I'll click that. And then it asks me this kind of abstract question that it's going to ask me every time I create a new connection. So it's worth your while to spend some time wrapping your head around how to think about it. When public health changes, does well-being change in the same direction or the opposite direction? So when I have better public health, do I have more well-being or less well-being? Well, I think that when I have more public health, I have more well-being, and when I have worse public health, I have less well-being. So they change in the same direction. And I think it takes months or so for that influence to make itself felt. I'll click Save, and now I've added public health to the model. I'm going to add a new node, crime. So crime also affects well-being. Well-being probably affects crime, but that's not what I mean to put into the model right now. Crime and well-being. Well, when I have more crime, do I have more well-being, or do I have less well-being? I think that when I have more crime, I have less well-being. When I have less crime, I have more well-being. So they change in opposite directions. And I'm going to say it takes weeks for that influence to manifest itself. And then I'll click Save, and now you can see the model has 3 nodes. And you can also see that the Elephant Builder represents opposite direction influence by a dashed arrow, and same direction influences by a solid arrow. Now, I don't want to keep adding connections to well-being the whole time I build the model, because otherwise, then I'll just have well-being with a whole bunch of arrows sticking out of it. It's a bad model. So I want to spend some time thinking about some of the other nodes in the model. Like if I want to spend some time connecting things to crime or to well-being, or if I don't want to make a decision, I can let the computer choose from among all the nodes that have been added to this model to choose one at random. Crime, well-being, crime again, well-being, public health. And of course, there's a shortcut. If I'm looking at public health, but I realize that I want to make a connection to well-being, I can just click on well-being, and then now it's asking me about what affects well-being. So if I'm building the model by myself, this is how I proceed, node by node, connection by connection. If I wanted to connect public health to crime, I could say public health and crime instead of having to type in crime, and then I could say, well, I think that public health affects crime, and or so on. If I'm building with a bunch of other people, the other people will be looking at different nodes at the same time that I'm looking at public health. Somebody else might be commenting on crime, and so everybody's building the different parts of the model in parallel. And after 20 or 30 minutes of this parallel model building, I can have a pretty extensive picture of what makes the community or the organization work. So that's it, model building, node by node. Happy building.